Music off, voices on. This is Acapella Podcast.
My earpods on too, so we're good.
Is it good? Is it on? Is it good?
Yeah, we're good.
Okay. All right. So let's get back into it because like I said, people came to this live because a lot of people I see a lot of industry people coming in and commenting or whatever. So May 15th, we left off before we cut off phase 1, and you feel that nightlife and entertainment is going to be phase 3.
Well, the problem is that they're throwing us nightlife, not the bars, not the restaurants. Nightlife is being thrown in as a category of concerts, festivals, where you have mass gatherings. The average customer, again, if you're in the hot parties because everybody's shoulder to shoulder and you could barely walk, and that's why they put it together as if it was part of the concerts. So the problem here is when you see every state's going to be different. You're going to have states that are going to open up earlier for everybody, but then it's up to the governors. Obviously, everybody wants to play this. Everybody has to play the safe card because if something happens by a bad call, it's going to fall back on them and their reelection or whatever the shit is.
Yeah.
The problem is it's a real problem, and we're in the middle of it. Most people are going to be allowed to go back to work. Obviously with all the new restrictions. The problem is, like I told you before, it's when these governors allow people to go back to normal, and when it's going to be our normal again. In the meantime, how do we adjust in this industry to everything that's happening? And it's not only us. You're talking about major artists. You're talking about, the Osunas, the Bad Bunnies that were touring around the world charging $500,000 for a concert.
Yeah.
That right now is frozen.
Yeah, I was talking to Alexis Peña, right? I was talking to him earlier today, and he said that he had 76 shows for the rest of 2020. He said they're all canceled, all of them.
But you know what, man? Like I one thing I do, man, like on a regular basis, and obviously we've known each other for many years.
Yes, sir.
The idea here is not to be like, oh shit, we're fucked. Nah, not really. We're not really fucked if we know how to play our cards right. How do I go about this? You're talking about the average restaurant that's going to be allowed to go back into business, which a lot of restaurants, like for example, you got, like the Barcode. Even though we're a nightclub, we're also a restaurant. Like I could, you could sit down and order, a full blown out meal. You could have pizza, your appetizers, because, we were set up for sporting events already. So we could probably, we could get ahead of the curve when it comes to that, maybe on phase 2. But obviously, it's not going to be with the occupancies that we're used to operating. So this is when owners need to be smart. And how do you get past this time?
Yeah.
One, you're gonna have to realize, and everybody from the staff to management to marketing to operation costs to DJs, everybody's gonna right now is gonna have to take a massive pay cut. It's either gonna be a pay cut or it's gonna be no business whatsoever.
Yeah.
And I'm talking about not the DJs that do this as a side gig, because if you do it as a side gig, I'm sure people are gonna be able to figure it out, and they're gonna be able to say, you know what, I'll let this whole thing pass. I'm not going to risk my family or whatever. But when you have no other choice,
right,
you're going to have to put that mask on. And you're going to have to figure out how you're going to bring bread to the house. So one thing that I encourage every owner to start doing right now, immediately, is first of all, start having meetings with anything that's your cost of operations. Like for an example, your landlord, if you don't own your own business, like I have a few places that I own the property outright. And then I have a few that that because the situation, I'm a tenant.
Yeah.
So the first thing that most of these people have to do, it's be able to negotiate with these property owners that that during this period of time, you guys got to give me a break when it comes down to your rents. If you're not negotiating that right now, that's gonna bite you in the ass.
Yeah.
So that's, to me, that's number one right now. Everybody has to be able to adjust to the new norm, at least for the time being, while these phases, you know, pass over, if they do. Because you got to remember, give me one second. I got these speakers that are on, and they're fucking, you know, bothering me.
If you just joined right now, we're talking to Eddie G. He's the owner of Barcode Lobby, Chupitos, and all kinds of other shit. Lift 21.
No. The owner, no. One thing, listen. One thing I've always say, man, and I learned this lesson a long time ago. Don't ever say you're the owner. You know why? Because that's when you actually start believing your own shit. You start believing that you actually own something. The reality is that the only thing we're entitled to is our fucking body. That's it.
Yeah.
Everything else is a loan. You know.
Okay, you're the guy. You're the guy on the contract.
Pretty much.
All right.
Pretty much.
Fair enough.
So let's go back. Let's go back to what I was talking about. If owners are not preparing themselves to readjust their expenses now, that's probably going to be one of the business that's going to start taking you out. You know why? And another thing about it is our industry. There's no sympathy for our industry. Like, you're not going to have, you know, the average mayor, the average senator, governor rooting for a nightlife, because they look at it like, you know what, we need to get the country back to normal. Concerts and music, that's the last of our worries right now. Because you know what, music, if this nightclub goes down and they go under, when this shit blows over, somebody else is going to open up another one, and that's how they're going to look at it. There's no need for our industry. You know, you need to eat, you need to get in your car, you need to, you know, put gas.
Yeah, it's like what they call essential services or whatever.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I'm looking at different possibilities. You know, obviously I sit down and I'm always thinking about all the possibilities that are going on. For bartenders, I think if you're, you know, if a lot of bartenders are waiting around for the places to open back up, and you're gonna go back and make those $400 or $500 a night, $600 a night, that's gonna be a long time before you see that. So if you're expecting to come back and start making that kind of money, I'm already telling you that that's gonna be a very big wake up call, because I don't see that happening no time soon. Right now, people, the most of the people that, especially in our area, we don't have the $100,000 plus people. You might have a few people that make that kind of money, but not the masses. And remember, we cater to the masses. When you go open up a club and you got 2,000 people in the club, 2,000 people are not making $100,000 plus.
Yeah.
You know, the average person is making $30,000, $40,000, $20,000. A lot of people just live paycheck to paycheck. So right now, when you have bartenders and they're expecting, or waitresses, they're expecting to go back to that industry, and tomorrow on May 15th, everything is going back to normal, that's not going to be a reality. Yeah. So those people are the ones that I really have to go out right now and start looking at what's going to be your other source of income. Now, doesn't mean that when this shit gets back to normal that the industry is not going to go and accept it, and you're going to start making that kind of money, but it's not going to happen no time soon. Yeah. I believe that I have seen a lot of people doing their lives with their music. I think that the new entertainment, at least for the time being, it's gonna be at home. People gonna be figuring out how they're gonna be able to enjoy themselves at home. And you know what? I thought about it like this. I'm looking at, wait a minute. Look at UFC. Look at boxing. All this shit. Most of the money is not made at the venue when they do these fights. Yeah, that's a good chunk of money. We're talking about it in one event, they could generate maybe $5 million, $10 million in ticket sales. But you got a boxer that night makes $20 million, right? Well, where's that money coming from? It's coming from all different sources. So one thing that I encourage a lot of people is to start figuring out how you step up your game, as far as like for example, DJs. Let's say we're able to create a new way of pay-per-view, right? Where it's no longer like I'm going live and I'm DJing for 2 hours and I'm drinking in front of the camera. Not just look at yourselves as artists. All right. So let's say for example, we go ahead and we get like, you know, a DJ Camilo with, you know, Frank Roth and Spin King, for example, and we do a live from Barcode. Now we go and set up that shit perfectly with the right technology, and we're able to build a channel with now DJs. Like we could bring Barcode to your house. If you pay $20, and let's say you get, between all these monsters, you get 1,000 people who are willing to pay $20. Do your math. It's 20 grand.
Yeah. Yeah.
So all these DJs that are scrambling right now and figure out, oh my God, like I lost all these gigs and all that. Listen, if you guys put your minds together, you guys could definitely ride this shit out. And from the biggest DJs all the way to, you know, to the small DJs, you know, there's no reason why you should have. You go on right now, you got 30 lives, and that's just now. It's 7 o'clock.
Yeah, yes.
At 10 o'clock, you got fucking over 40 likes. Before you were able to go, you know, a few likes, and you got people's stories. Not anymore. Like,
and they're sharing that audience too, because what I see now is that, you know, now you're sharing the audiences. You're doing pretty much what, you know, you're sharing the audience, right? So
exactly.
Let me ask you another question, because I see this and I got my own opinion that I formed. What do you think about these DJs that are going on these lives and pinning their Cash App on the thing? Like,
you know what, man? I'm gonna give you my point of view on that.
Yeah. I'll share mine too, but I want to hear what you. Yeah.
It's very. Listen, I think that I as an owner, I like to put myself, and that's why I have a great relationship with a lot of my employees. I like to put myself in everybody's shoes. You know, like for example, right now, people telling you, "Oh, quédate en casa, stay home." Yeah, motherfuckers, it's that easy when you live in a dope ass house.
Right.
But what about the people that don't have that dope ass house, that are sleeping in a fucking room that's 10 by 10, and probably your TV's fucked up, and maybe you're renting a room with, you know, with friends, and you don't have a fucking refrigerator. So it's mentally fucking up a lot of people. You know, this is not something, and I'm telling you, listen, I have a dope ass apartment in Fort Lee, bro. At day 2, I can't wait to get the fuck out of there.
Yeah.
Because I'm in a little box, and I cannot imagine how you got so many people frustrated with this shit. Maybe in a way where it's mentally messing with people. You see, it's this situation is killing people in different ways. The virus, yes, I get it. Listen, I got it. It did nothing to me. I was blessed. But not many people get out of that so quick. Every day I open my feed, it's rest in peace, rest in peace, rest in peace. But the problem is, how do we make the best out of the massive bullshit that we're all dealing with right now? We just got to get creative. We need to get creative. Let me give you another example. And then this goes for major artists. You got a guy like, and I'm using this UFC and all this shit, because I'm like, wait a minute, how the fuck these niggas are making $20 million, $30 million? I know artists personally that are monsters, that in a whole tour, they net $3-4 million. When the whole tour generated 40 million. And then after all that shit is paid for, you only end up with $2-3 million or $4 million. That's stupid. I figure out, you know what? Use this time to reinvent yourself, make more money and work less.
Yeah.
Give you an example. Take Romeo Santos, for example. I look at Romeo as an artist that that's worldwide artist. You go ahead, you project from now 2 months out, a live, well-produced, at a venue with a small audience, but you go with that worldwide, and you do like a pay-per-view where it's $100 or let's say it's $50. If 1 million people around the world locks in at $50, that's $50 million. And your production cost is peanuts.
Yeah.
Because you could probably rent a bullshit ass venue, or even at the Barcode patio, set up a crazy production, and now you cash out in one event what you would make in your whole fucking tour. Now you are saving money on buses, you're saving money on marketing per different market. Because everywhere, if you're in New York and you're gonna do New York, the tri-state, that's gonna be one market, and you gotta do Miami. Start saving all that money and this is the moment that people, they're gonna have to try this shit out. Because if they don't try new stuff out, everybody's gonna get wiped out. Why would I want to make music in a studio as an artist when people say, oh, but they got streams, they got this money and that. Listen, if you're in the industry for sure, you know that money is peanuts compared to the money that they really make when they're on tour.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
streaming and all that stuff. Yeah, they're gonna get pennies, but that's gonna completely change their whole lifestyle. Their
Yeah.
lifestyle is not gonna be the same anymore.
Yeah.
So
You know,
people have to learn how to adapt.
yeah, like I see people commenting on the whole, you know, when I asked the question about the DJs pinning their cash app on the thing. You know, people are saying it's a tip and it's
Oh, let's go back to that.
yeah,
I'm sorry,
yeah.
we got off subject.
Yeah, yeah. So like I feel like me personally, my personal opinion, like I feel you know, it somehow devalues the craft a little bit. I get it, you're asking for the tip, you're whatever, like again, I don't know anybody's situation, so I really, you know, can't say don't do it because it looks like shit, but I feel it devalues a little bit the craft. I feel it's, you know, I don't know. Like I don't know. I have mixed feelings about that whole, you know, send me a
You know,
cash app,
you know what it is, bro. I look at it like this, man, and going back to the reason why I said nobody knows what everybody else is going through. You know, again, people have different situations. People got, you know, what the hardest thing here is people having to adapt to a new income.
Yeah.
So what happens when you were making money? You know, you have your list. You know how you had 30, 40 gigs a month. You know, you do your math. You're making XYZ money, and you're rocking.
Yeah.
Boom, that comes to the end. Now you have that dope ass house you're paying for, that dope ass car you're paying for. You know, you have all these new expenses you adapted yourself for, and now that all comes to a stop. People have to figure out how they're gonna make that extra money so they're able to, you know, to sustain. Do I agree with the Cash App? Yes, because they're not getting creative, and this is the only little money they can make.
Yeah.
But I'm telling you that if you guys put yourself together, like there's no reason why you couldn't go to that one dope club that you guys are used to, or you guys are probably DJing with, and talk to that owner. Let's say we create that. This is how you help out. This is how DJs and owners together could ride out this massive tsunami. I call this shit a tsunami.
Yeah.
Going back to the original idea, set up the club with the right cameras. Every DJ has somehow they branded themselves. They got cameras. They got this. You go ahead and you do an event with, let's say you get 1,000 people to pay $20. That's 20 grand. Take 50% for the club, 50% for the DJs. Next thing you know, you got three DJs. They get on the ticket. In one night, they could generate, you know, $3,000, $3,200. If the ticket made $10,000, and now the club makes 10,000, that writes them out, you know, for a month. But if you're gonna have everybody doing the same shit at the same time, it ain't gonna work.
Yeah. Because it's the same thing as in the physical world, right? Like it's like 20 nightclubs open up, you know, in the same town. You're gonna share the people, right? So in the way and obviously why do I mean that you have to do your homework and you gotta get the right technology? I don't want to go pay $20 to see somebody's face like this. Like I don't want to see that. You want to be able to have you know, you build your team. Let's say the club owner says, all right, cool. You're gonna bring Camilo and Speed King and this guy. That's gonna be 50% of the ticket. That other 50%, I'm gonna hire 2-3 dancers just to make it live. You know, something that's fun, and then you create content. And that content, you want to be able to sell it. Listen, when we go in and we rent the movie on Netflix, we're paying to get numbed out for an hour or two, right? Yeah.
Why can't we do the same thing for entertainment of music? Listen, I got many friends that all they do is wait to see who's live and whose live is dope, so they could just sit down and sit at home.
Yeah, I mean, I've been on some like I watched the Fat Joe live. Like I'm a fan of Fat Joe live because I think it's you know, his content is good, right? So let me tell
you what the problem is. Fat Joe is putting out content that's dope, and he ain't making money with that.
And he's not monetizing it, yeah.
So if you're not monetizing it, you're part of the problem.
Yeah.
You know, and I'm not saying, yo, like start doing this shit tomorrow, but You know what? If this stretch comes out to be 3, 4 months, 5 months out, I'm telling you, you better start looking at how you're going to cash out on your craft. Because how are you going to survive? How are you going to sustain? How these clubs are going to be able to hold on? You know, right now, nobody's talking about eviction. Nobody's talking about nothing because everybody's at a complete stop. The moment that 80% or 90% of the country's back to work, if you're a landlord, you're going to be like, yo, listen, I love you. I know you've been a great tenant. But if you cannot, I cannot wait around until your industry gets a green light to open. I need to start collecting my rent, or I'm gonna need your space.
Yeah.
What happens if this shit rides out for a year?
Yeah.
That's less venues, and the reason why I'm saying everybody has to work together, because I'm gonna tell you one thing, guys. When you go online, when you go on your Instagram and you see so many lives, what is that telling you? That's all these DJs that are unemployed. And each one of those DJs somehow, some way represents one venue or another. So if you got 60 DJs on, that means that, and that's people that I know that that follow me and I follow them.
Yeah, the same thing. Yeah.
If you start doing this shit, if you start actually looking at what this shit is worldwide, it's gonna be this is gonna be a complete wipeout for this industry. And you just look at and it's a trickle effect, because you're talking about, I just point out a few DJs, bartenders. You're talking about, sound companies, lighting companies, liquor companies, and this is a trickle effect.
Let's not forget the hookah. Let's not forget the hookahs.
The hookahs and all that shit. Which is another thing I'm gonna talk. I wanted to.
I want to get into the hookahs too, because that's another thing that I think like is gonna get impacted as well. And I think just so all right. So from a like a logical perspective, right? How do you see, for example, like when Barco does open up, what does that look like? What does Barco look like post Corona? What is your plan?
Well, let me give you. So the first thing I'm going to look at is this: when we're able to open, I have to do my homework on what is going to be, this whole social distancing shit that's going to be in place. Because if they're telling me, listen, the only reason you got a table here and you got to skip one and you got to put another one because the travel distance of the air and all that shit. You know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna buy a shitload of 2x4s, build partitions with fucking acrylic or a plastic that divides it. Listen, they're doing that right now in supermarkets. They're doing that shit all over the place. So if you have a venue that's this small and you have to space out tables, I'm telling you right now, close your fucking doors, cut the bleeding, and dedicate yourself to another industry. Yeah. Because if that's going to be the case, I don't see how you're going to be able to sustain with 50. Because, like the governors, that's one thing too. Politicians, they're all fucking morons, especially the ones making the big shot. And they're not morons because they're trying to do the right thing, but they need to understand how industries operate. Like when I hear a governor or somebody in the health offices and all that stuff, they're talking about, we have to reduce these restaurants to 50% capacities or at least 50%. So, okay, beautiful. I prefer for an owner to be smart. Do not open your doors and just keep your costs as low as possible. The moment you open your doors, your cost is payroll. It's insurance, it's taxes, it's electricity, it's all this shit. So that's not gonna change. So if you don't bring this shit down to this or this, while they go from 50% to 75% capacity, then I could probably say you might have an opportunity to survive. Now, let's say you have a manager that's making $300 a shift. You know what? That manager might need to adapt to 150. That DJ that's charging $1,000 or $1,500, you might have to go down to $500.
Yeah.
If you want to continue doing your gigs. Now, remember, there's not going to be no nightclubs for a while. One thing that I tell DJs, if I'm a restaurant, like say Barcode, I'm probably going to want to say, you know what? I'm going to open up as a restaurant. I'm going to have tables. but I want to have a DJ. Now, if you look at Barcode's a monster.
Right.
You know, Barcode is 50,000 square feet, where the average bar is 2,000, 3,000 square feet. So I can't have a DJ in one room and let that same music be throughout the whole and then expect people to be entertained. DJs and I learned this when I used to do the sport, when I used to do the live with sports and shit like that. And once the sports was over, we used to do video DJing. You see, now if I'm sitting at a table with a girl and my friends and all that stuff, and we're distancing ourselves from another table, the ambience is completely dead.
Yeah.
So there's no ambience. Now you're here, and why am I here? But if you have a dope screen with a music video and you're seeing the different music videos and the vibe is dope, you're going to hold a crowd. The problem is that a lot of people, they either were in the nightclub industry or they were in the restaurant industry. Yeah, nobody thought about it as an in-between industry.
So I see DJ Nice commenting on here. He's like, he will pay to see himself DJ. So, which is funny because, like, when I made the comment about the Cash App, it wasn't more so to say that you can't take a donation, but it was more so to say, how do you monetize your shit, right? How do you, like, it's true what Nice says, like, yeah, I would pay to see him DJ. He's a great DJ, right? So, there's got to be a more creative way for you to monetize it and say, I'm going to start a subscription-based service or some shit like that where you're paying me $20 a month or whatever it is, where,
Yeah, but you know what? I don't see that working, because I look at it like this: like, if DJ Nice or whatever DJ, and I see many DJs that are here, and listen, I feel your pain.
Yeah,
I feel your pain, and I know that this is not easy for many people. But you see, one thing that a lot of DJs have forgotten to do is to build, un espectáculo. How you call that? How you say it in Spanish? I mean, in English, like create this showcase. Yeah, build a fucking show.
Right.
You know why? Because the problem why a lot of DJs
I would pay for that. Yeah.
You know what? A lot of DJs go into a club, plug in their laptops, and they play the 20 songs that are hot in the radio. That doesn't make you a good DJ. So if you're gonna do that live, guess what? Why am I gonna pay for you to do that when I know for sure I could go to all these free lives and they're gonna be playing the same music? Everybody's gonna play Calladita and all this fucking bullshit, and everybody's playing the same shit. But if you create something that people will be like, I'm definitely gonna be watching. Like, for example, you have a regular club, and then we're bringing Ozuna a month from now. Everybody's getting ready for that. Everybody's getting for that. If you as a DJ do not know how to build yourself to be just as important as that massive artist, people don't have no need to pay to see your shit.
Right.
So,
and one of the things that the lives have been doing also, I do appreciate the DJs doing the live, because I think all the lives are showcasing the DJ's talent. Like I watch Aneldi's live. Because Aneldi has been in the Basilón for so long, I forgot how dope of a DJ he was. So, so like, I'm like, damn, this motherfucker's pretty good. Like, I forgot how good he was. So, so definitely continue to do that. Now, here's another question, right? I know you're not a big fan of promoters, but there's a lot of promoters in here right now. From that point of view, I think promoters now got to really, really start to get creative also.
My brother, listen, no, listen, this idea that I put out, a smart, listen, if you're a promoter and you're just sitting watching me and your head is not spinning, you're a fucking moron.
Yeah.
Straight up.
A lot of opportunity.
Right now, let's go back. Let's go back to this scenario. Let's go back to the same scenario I was just talking about. DJ Camilo, a DJ, Spin King and all that shit. You know what? Build something that people are dying to see. Club owner, sit down with this promoters and create bro. If you're gonna do it on your own, you're gonna fail. You need a team of people working with you, making that expectation for that Saturday night party. And don't do that shit like a week from now, or I'm gonna be live tomorrow. Buy my subscription. No, build an expectation. Like sit down with if three DJs are dope, and doesn't have to be the commitment on the speak. It could be anybody. And bro, everybody has, and I'm using those guys as an example because they have already somehow created different platforms.
Yeah, they have already built an audience that they can move that audience anywhere.
All right. So let's say you're a strong DJ and you want to help out a fellow 2 other DJs that might not be doing too good, that for a fact. Stick together, work out your different. Listen, there's 100 pieces to a pie, right? Just figure out what your percentage is going to be. And your percentage should really be what you bring to the table. If you bring something dope to the table, then you should be able to make a little bit more percentage.
Yeah.
And the same thing with the venue. The same thing, you're going to have, you might have a sound company. Every sound company is dead right now. From the tours, from all that shit.
Yeah.
Yo, make a deal where, listen, bro, bring me some lights, bring me some shit so I can make my shit look dope. I'm going to pay you, 5% of what we generate in this live. And I'm going to pay you, let's say, again, I'll use the Camilo. Camilo, look, I'm going to give you 20% of the pie or 30% of the pie. When everybody starts putting their minds together, that night you're going to generate some money. And if you know how to, if you know how to work together, you could have all these promoters be like, yo, buy the subscription. Boom. Next thing you know, everybody's cashing out on that one event. You might do it once a week or once every 2 weeks. Now, don't flood it because oh shit, I make some money with this. Let me do this shit all over again.
Yeah.
Because it's not going to work. At that point, it's not going to work. But listen, everybody needs to put the creative hats on and start seeing how they're going to be able to, to see how they're going to be able to cash out on the opportunities. Listen, everybody's then in the water. If you're in the industry of entertainment, don't bullshit me. Don't bullshit anybody. You're dead in the water.
Yeah. Do you see a lot? Do you see some nightclubs closing? Like you see them not coming back from this?
Hell yeah. Listen, I didn't end up with so many places because a lot of these places were doing great. Imagine, and that's when shit was right. And that's when the economy was right. Imagine now, green light, boom, go back to clubs. You could go open up tomorrow. Listen, right now there's people borrowing money from friends because they and again, back to the same shit with the industry. DJs, bartenders, waitresses. Oh no, I don't want to make no money on the check. I want cash. Good. Where's that cash right now? You can't even file for unemployment. So the ignorance in the industry is massive. Everybody wants to make that today money. Well, a lot of people that, that say, fuck it, like, I want to pay my taxes. I want to have my credit right. I want to be able to get a loan for a house. Those people, they're going to be good. Right now, those are the ones that are, smiling, getting those $1,200 because, they're making money from the government or whatever.
Yeah.
Or they were able to file for unemployment. People need to understand that if you look poor in front of the eyes of the government, then you're not going to get shit from them. They want to boost the economy. And by boosting the economy, it's putting hands and money in hands of people that are going to be wise and they're going to be able to spend it and all this shit. But if you want to go ahead and you want to throw a party and you want to make your $500 in one night in cash and that's cool. If you have other source of income where you have your other shit, but if you're going to be that one DJ or that one promoter or bartender or waitress trying to just collect every cash, guess what? This right now is biting you in the ass.
Yeah, like my advice is that, like, especially like promoters or DJs, anybody in the industry, like when things are good, when they get back to good, whenever that is, when they get back to being right, getting good, let this moment that we're going through be a lesson and be a pointer that you should be putting your money somewhere else, investing your money in other opportunities and not, going to buy a fucking $1,000 pair of sneakers or whatever. Like, listen, if that's your thing, great. But I understand that this can and may happen again.
The problem is that, listen, one thing that everybody got to keep in mind. once something is tested, it becomes a new threat. All right? We have seen pandemics in the past, in what, 1920 or whatever, and all this shit. We've seen that. But those were very different times. Technology was different. There was no technology pretty much back in those days. Now, a fucking booger in the air, a droplet, changed the world. So this shit could happen to anybody.
Yeah.
You're talking about more people dying, infections probably being stronger than this one. Listen, this is wiping out a lot of people.
A lot,
but
man.
but it's not as deadly as it could be. And the problem is this shit just got tested. It tested every single government. Of that one droplet that was released, it's changing the world as we speak right now. A lot of people are killing themselves, even just because of, they can't deal with the pressure. They can't deal with their kids, crying in the room next door, or everybody cramped up into a small ass room and their kids crying because there's no food. So as we're talking about how we survive musically, the world is fucking hurting right now.
Yeah, very much so.
So the only way people need to understand that, yes, this is probably right now, this time is probably the biggest forced education everybody ever got.
Yeah, for sure. Absolutely.
Because right now, listen, for me to have come up, I would have never thought about any of this shit. All these ideas of putting shit together and looking at how pay-per-view does shit and all that. I would never be looking at that shit if I would have been with my clubs open. But you know what? I'm not going to wait for this shit to come and cripple me. Yeah. I'm going to figure out how the fuck am I going to survive this tsunami and start getting ready for future things. The first thing people need to say, like, if people always say, you know what? Use the bank's money because that's how you make it in America. Yeah, that was a great philosophy until we got tested. Now, you probably could have bought your house 10 times around if you would have not spent all this money on the Yeezys and the gold chains and the diamonds and all this stuff. You could have had done that. You see, that happened to me once before. When Coco Bongo went at a decline, my brother, a lot of people, they saw the glory. Oh, no, Eddie's doing fine. He's doing fine. Now, listen, I almost lost everything. Yeah. I lost properties that I was able to buy back, but I lost them. On record, I lost those properties. So what did I learn from that? I could be on here right here and be there tomorrow, which now we are.
Big facts. That's big. That's
but you know what's one thing? You know what's one thing that I did different this time? All those properties that I'm talking about, I paid them outright. So right now, my only worry is generating enough income to pay those taxes, those property taxes.
Yeah.
If the government doesn't create new programs. But people, when you get out of this mess, God willing, everybody does, and I want to see everybody winning in this. Guys, you have to spend your money wisely. Don't be buying the cutest shit. Listen, if you got girls that are, they want to see you wearing the hot shit and the diamond. Listen, all those people, cut them out of your fucking life. All those people are airheads.
I'm charging everybody for that Moet bottle now. Now, you want to come to the club with me? Yo, my man, that Moet bottle is $200. You got to give me $50. Because fuck that. Fuck
nah,
that.
Bro, listen, everybody wants to be part of the glory. Right now, this is the one time that everybody got tested. Everybody got tested, and right now nobody was prepared for this. And you know what? And I was a victim of that too. When I was doing great, I had the fucking Bentley, and then I bought myself the new Porsche when they fucking unveiled it, and that was dope. And you know what? And I was paying my mortgage, and I was paying my car payments, and then there was a decline. Coco Bongo died down, and now I had to figure out how am I gonna get out of this hole. And oh shit! But it's either I pay for the house or I pay for the car, and then you just got to start choosing, and eventually it's a domino effect, and everything goes down to shit. Why? Yeah. Don't let that get back to this. If you guys make out of this shit, don't go back into that. Listen, me, bro, I buy myself a $10 t-shirt. I buy myself a $30 jeans, and I don't have to prove nothing to nobody.
Yeah, man.
But you know what? At the end of the day, the only people we got to prove something to is the people that we love, which is our family, our kids, and giving them what is called financial freedom.
Yeah.
All right. So in this industry, going back, and I don't want to lecture people because at the end of the day, I'm
No.
nobody to lecture you.
I think, like, look, I think people are there's some takeaway from what you're saying, right? Because, you know, again, like, that's why I'm like, you know, when I saw you post that today, I'm like, yo, this would be a good conversation to have. Let's just talk about it, right? Because, you know, I think a person like yourself, you know, and I've known you for a long ass time. Like, we've done some great parties together. Like, it's you know, and, you know, a person to bring a perspective from that, I think people were willing to take away some gems and say, look, I'm going to take away what he said about this. They may not take everything away. You just take what you need to take and apply it, because this shit will pass. And then when it passes, you know, and you see the same motherfuckers doing the same exact shit that they were doing before, and then now they're in a tight situation, then shame on you if it happens to you again. You know what I mean? It's like, fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice.
Exactly. Well, at least you got it right. Bush couldn't figure it out.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? So it's like, all right, cool. You know, like, even the people who are blessed that happen to have, you know, means of supporting themselves and their family, even those people have learned something from this.
Yeah.
You know, they're like, yo, I should have done this better. I should have done that. But even those people, so imagine people at the bottom who are less fortunate or whatever it is. Imagine, you know, this is a fucking, like you said, this is an exercise. This is a exercise to think, to plan, and to grow. That's it.
Yeah.
It's really that simple. At the end of the day, like, it's really that simple.
Look, man, if you're that DJ going into a club with a $2,000 book bag or $3,000 book bag, you're part of the problem. Listen, I'm at a point right now in my life where my goal is to grow.
Carlos Pay. I see your comment, Carlos.
my goal right now is to get people that I love to be financially stress-free. And the only way we're going to get that is obviously, you know, planning correctly, getting yourself insurance, your life insurance. But listen, because you never know. Right now, I could pass away.
Yeah.
And then what? I'm leaving all this shit to my family. Right now, I pass away. My family rocking.
Yeah. Like, another thing. Here's a question that DJ Chris posted. Right. He said, when clubs open back up, when they open back up, everyone's expected to take pay cuts. Will drink prices also drop? Bottle prices.
Everything has to. Listen.
That's a good question.
The first thing everybody needs to understand is that people's income are not going to be there. So I cannot expect people to go into a club. Imagine, and we in Jersey, we're already lower than the clubs in New York. Like, how do you justify a bottle in New York of Grey Goose for $700? That's stupid. That's retarded.
People are sending questions in. Hold on, let me see.
Oh, my brother, I need you to look at that shit.
Yeah, and I'm looking
on
at
the blind side.
I'm looking at it. Let me see.
But let me go back to that. Let me go back to that part. The whole industry has to adjust, from door prices to, because you also got to understand that once you open, my operation costs, I have to drop it as much as I can, but there's only so much I could drop before it starts affecting the operation. Like, I could tell a manager, you know, from 300 go down to 150.
Somebody posted that question.
Yeah. So what's Barcode's future? I'm ready to take that motherfucker on. Whatever is given to me, they tell me, like I said earlier, man, God gives you lemons. I'm not gonna make a fucking lemonade. How much you gonna sell lemonade for? $1? Nah, motherfucker. I'm gonna make some tequila and fucking make a margarita and sell that shit for the right number. So obviously, right now we're just waiting to see what's gonna be the phases, when they're gonna start, and adapt to them. Because right now, like, I could call any local official. Yeah, they see the phases, but those phases are so wide open. Like, they didn't say a restaurant at limited capacity. Okay, good. What's the limited capacity? If you hold 100 people, can you do 50? Or is it going to be 30? Or is it going to be 70? Are you only dropping 20%? Or are you dropping 30%? Nobody's coming up with these numbers. So when you are a real business owner, obviously a politician is not. So they just talk about a open drop capacity. Listen, if I go hold 100 people and I'm dropping my capacity to 99, now that's just me being a smartass. So what's going to be the real number? And who's going to enforce it? And on top of that, are people going to be open-minded to start going out? That's another question. You know, I'm looking at already buying the cameras that when you're walking in, it's already measuring your temperature. And it's not because it's going to mean something. Listen, I was sick. I had the fucking virus. And
Yeah.
all I lost was my sense of smell. You know how many people I know that that's all they got? So that's not, those temperature shit is just to give the government, like, okay, we're doing something about it. But that's not going to mean nothing. That's not going to change nothing. That's going to be a real fact that everybody has to start realizing that all this shit that they say, oh, you know, like put your face mask on. Again, it's limiting the amount of people getting the virus. But we have to start adapting to the new things. Like maybe, like I told you, creating partitions in between tables. You know, maybe, you know, there might be new lighting or something new.
Yeah, I think like, you know, and I'll put this out, like, you know, like if you're a promoter, you should really be thinking about right now. Like I had an idea, and I'll put it out because, you know, it's whatever. Like it's a virtual reality, right? So you ever seen those Oculuses, like the virtual realities, right?
That's what I was. Listen, that's
like
exactly.
Virtual reality party, you know, you put a party together like that, where you feel like you're in the club and you are drinking your bottle, and you have that experience, and you put it on your back. Now the technology is expensive, but listen, there is a way right now for you to pop that off. Right now.
With your phone, they have the cheap ones that you put your phone, and that's like only like $20, $30.
Yeah.
So one thing, when I was talking about the whole pay-per-view shit, I was looking at you could buy a ticket. Let's say, but this is obviously going to be more driven towards the major concert size. Like, you know, when you record something for those kind of things, you need special equipment. When you know, because obviously you want to get better angles, it's wider. So that's how you would create like the VIP experience, like the general public experience, but having cameras set up in different places.
Yeah.
You know, so that's one thing that I was, you know, already considering. Obviously, I have to do my homework on that.
I know a guy that was working for a company that was looking to do this with the NBA, right? And they were gonna do, you know, the NBA is considering doing something like that, where you go to a virtual basketball game, and they're only gonna have the players on the court, not the people, and they give you this virtual reality shit. You pay to go to the game, like you would pay to go to the game, and you put this shit on your living room, and now you got a courtside seat. I can't afford a courtside seat. I know you can afford a courtside seat, nigga. I can't afford a courtside seat, nigga. I could barely afford a section 100. So
now, but now, let me give you what's going to be the craziest part about this. What happens if these big ass artists start making the money they've never seen before with this new way? Let's say we apply it and it works. Why the fuck am I going to want to waste my time traveling all around the world to make a fraction when I could just prepare for this one massive event, do a live, do a pay-per-view event? Like, listen, Floyd Mayweather doesn't fight every fucking night.
Yeah.
But when he does, he makes fucking $50 million, $100 million. So when you start, and a lot of artists didn't see that because that wasn't the norm at those days.
Yeah.
They might have to adapt to that, and they might come out and see, yo, why spend all this money on the tour buses, on production, on giving Madison Square Garden $500,000 and paying for stage hands and all this shit when I could just do one live and rock out with that? Imagine that.
Look at this question right here that Carlos CEO put. What do you think about DJs and promoters raising money for them? Like, I guess it goes along the same question for the Cash App thing. Like, you know, again, like it's a mixed bag of feelings, right? Because, you know, again, like it's just how you want to portray your image and whatever. Like, but I understand people right now.
I'm gonna give you the one answer. Sell your craft. Don't ask for charity. Build something that people want to pay for, so you don't look like you're looking for a handout.
Yeah.
That's how I feel like right now. It's like you know when you get out
before. Yeah.
You know when you get out of when you're in the hood and you get out of a restaurant or something, you got that one guy asking you for money. That's how it looks like. But that guy that's asking for money is starving. So you can't blame him from that. But if that guy went and he took your car window and he cleaned your window and all that stuff, you want to give him a tip. So this right here is something that I believe people need to listen. All you guys are already artists. Some way, somehow, you guys are all artists.
Here's another question. Another question that Chris posted up. I'll let you read it.
Anybody that got paid with check, whatever that amount is, yeah, you could get unemployment. But remember that this is the difference between being an employee, and being a private contractor. So if you're a DJ, you're getting paid and you get a 1099. You got to do your homework. I believe they just now opened it up where people who are self-employed could apply for these.
Yeah, but see, self-employed those self-employed means the government has to know that, right? You have to be able to pay self-employment taxes. You have to be able to pay unemployment taxes, because just because you're self-employed doesn't mean you're exempt from paying taxes. A lot of people get it fucked up. Like, you have to register your company. You have to send those quarterly payments to the government, and you have, you got to pay your taxes at the end of the day, because the government is going to look at, like you said, they're going to look at you and be like, no, nigga, you ain't pay shit. So you have to have your paperwork in line. It's not like you're going to go and do that shit just because you don't have any paperwork. So
again, I
remember one time I told DJs to open up LLCs, and they look at me like I had 10 heads. I'm like, my nigga, like, go open that up. So many benefits.
You know what? And a lot of people need to understand that, when you go and you work in small bars and shit like that, a lot of these bars, they operate Mickey Mouse. When you're running a bigger boat, you have to start considering that you have to adapt to the law. The bigger you are, the bigger of a target you are. So these DJs that are going out and they're trying to collect their money in cash and they don't want to get paid in checks and all that stuff, this is one day that's all gonna bite you in the ass.
Yeah.
Listen, and another thing too, if you're a DJ and you're posting up, you're doing 50 events and you're putting all these dates, guess what? The day somebody wants to go and look you up, they got to go back to your history. They're going to put up all those flyers. Oh, you did all these clubs? All right, you do 20 clubs or 50 clubs at an average of 1,000. You're making about $50,000 a month, but you're only showing that you're making $20,000 a year.
Yeah, somebody can.
And that's how they get you. So listen, stop. Listen, that's cool, but it's going to bite you in the ass. Sooner or later, that's going to bite you in the ass. And
here, somebody put another question here. CeeLo 152. Why don't you do something like a delivery type of service where you get a package of bottles and the live feed of the club? That's actually pretty cool. I want to order a package of 5 Moets, because I love my fucking Moet.
Yeah, but you know what? That's dope. But you got to remember, like, if you are a neighborhood bar, that's cool. But what happens when you got a place like Barcode, Lobby, Lit, that only 20% or 15% of the people are locals and everybody else is from the outside? What are you going to do? Deliver a bottle here, a bottle there? You're going to go crazy. It's going to be like, it's got to be laid out where logistically it makes sense. If you're gonna have somebody buy a bottle in Newark, the fuck am I? First of all, you're not gonna pay me $200 for a bottle of Hennessy while you could have went 2 hours earlier and bought it at the liquor store for $35 or $40. So if I'm gonna deliver that bottle of Hennessy, I'm gonna have to deliver it for $40. Am I gonna go through all that trouble for $40? It doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, look at this. There's one here. Are you nervous that people will be scared to go to the clubs once everything opens back? Because like right now, like everybody that I've spoken to, they're like, okay, supposedly we're opening back up on the 15th.
Yeah, I hear you. Let me. I'm getting some water, but I hear you. Go ahead.
My personal feeling is that I ain't ready to go outside on the 15th. I'm not ready. I'm gonna go outside. Yo te como sin vid, a capela, suave que la noche.
So, answering that question, Look, I'm a person that I adapt to every situation. I was around in 2001 when 9/11 happened. Listen, that's a perfect example. 9/11 happened. Everybody was scared to go out.
Yeah, I got.
They
I'm sorry to cut you off, but we got 2 minutes before we have to reconnect. So if it ends, we'll have to reconnect.
All right, sounds good.
So it's gonna.
Let me ask you, but you could repost this whole thing, right?
Yeah, it'll stay. It'll stay for 24 hours. Yeah.
All right. So obviously, that's when you have to do your numbers. Am I nervous? No. What's one thing that benefits me at Barcode? I own my own property. So I don't have the stress of, oh shit, I got that $30,000-$40,000 rent.
Yeah.
So I don't have that problem. I cannot speak like that for every venue. Every venue is going to have to adapt to the new norms, and it might be that those new norms might not be good enough, and they might wipe them out. So I don't know what's going to happen when it comes to that.
Yeah.
But when it comes down to Barcode itself, I believe that we have to keep on being smart and how we open. So when we open, we don't put ourselves in a deficit on a nightly basis when we're operating. And that's probably why you might want to go and apply for these grants or these government loans at a very small percentage, because you might want to borrow that cushion. So you yourself know when you open up, you're gonna find out on week one where you're standing. Because I could open up on week one. You see, that's one other thing too. You gotta understand. I'm a 42-year-old person, but young kids, they don't give a fuck. They want to party, and my market is 21 to about 40. Being the majority of my clientele, I would say 70% is between 21 and 30 years old.
Again, like people were commenting, I was looking at before you came out, I'm looking at the comments, right? And people were saying like, treat it like a business, treat the whole thing like a business, and like I just tell people from experience, like just make sure that you have all your paperwork and all your shit, correct. And make sure, the other thing, man, before I forget, because I thought about it earlier, like, is life insurance. Get life insurance. You don't have to wait for a pandemic to get life insurance to take care of you. Because something happens to you, and you don't want to, you don't want your family to struggle. You don't your family to go start opening up fucking GoFundMe's just to bury your ass. Maybe that they don't, you don't even have to get a large policy, man. Just something to cover your burial, cover your shit. People need to really doing a self-assessment after this, man. Like it's a learning moment. So just take this moment to learn and to educate yourself, But all right, so here's the other question, because a lot of people were asking this in the comments, right? Now they were saying, okay, we're gonna, okay, with the DJs, you have this great idea to put that out there. Now, what do you say to like people like okay, we touched on sound. What do you say to people like, say, like bouncers? Like in that, like now you don't need bouncers, because now if you're doing this virtual party, who is the dancer going to control?
Listen, again, when I was talking about the artists, I was also looking at if I do a pay-per-view event, all right, and this turns out to be a whole different level of income, a lot of people are going to start adapting to new norms. It ain't no different than when cell phones came out. Kind of wiped out the industry of payphone. It's still communications. New things come up, and listen, this was forced on us. Nobody was forced to think outside the box until this past month. So everybody has to start adapting to new things, man. If you're a bouncer, you got to start, evaluating what you're going to do with your lives, at least for the time being. Listen, if you're a bouncer at a club, there's no reason why you couldn't be a bouncer at a supermarket. You couldn't be a bouncer at a security firm for a bank or something. You just got to think outside the box,
Yeah.
And what's going to happen is that these new norms are also going to force listen, they want social distancing. They don't want anybody cramped up at one time. One thing that I was reading earlier, you see, so I'm always thinking outside the box and how we're going to bounce back as strong as possible. one of the things that I was looking at, if owners, if all the bar owners, and I'm sure that in the state of New Jersey there's an association for bar owners, we pay in sales tax, we pay pretty much high numbers. We don't get the 3% like a lot of these clothing stores and all those people get. We might have to get forced to go down to Trenton and see if the government will willing to work with us on sales tax.
Yeah.
Maybe dropping it down to 4%. Because you see, if we were able to open that 3% in sales tax that everybody's saving, that could be money that could be using to bounce back.
Yeah.
So we need to start reaching out. And this is, remember, we're thinking about a lot of shit that we do within ourselves as owners and bartenders and everything else. But we also got to start reaching out, like the payroll tax that they're trying to stop. That's something that will definitely benefit a lot of business owners when you actually pay taxes.
Right, correct.
When you pay taxes, you know how important it is to save in every corner. But you got property taxes that they need, for like let's say over at Barcode. If we're not open complete, it's very difficult for a person that's not making no money to pay what the city wants to collect in taxes. We as property owners or as business owners that are a tenant of a property that's, let's say, it doesn't have to be me because a lot of people, when you do commercial leases, a lot of people are triple net. So for you people that don't know what triple net is, you as a tenant, you're responsible for everything. You're responsible for property taxes, you're responsible for the insurance, and you're responsible pretty much for everything.
Yeah.
So we the owners of our bars need to sit down with these property owners, and we should put pressure on local government so they could reduce property taxes, at least for these venues, until this whole restriction is taken out. And it's only but fair because, do your math. Yeah, they still want their money, but they're chopping you by 50%.
Yeah.
Well, when your income is not there, you didn't open up a bar for 100 people to expect to only make money with 50. So everybody has to work together at least until this whole thing blows over. Like, put a 24-month period that they're gonna drop down. They're gonna drop the property taxes and sales tax by a certain percentage. Another thing that I encourage, putting pressure on your local government, because in the state of New Jersey, so you people know, one thing I do, I know that fucking ABC book like the back of my hand. In the state of New Jersey,
ABC, everybody, in case you don't know, is the people that regulate the liquor licenses and all that stuff.
Alcohol Beverage Control Board.
Yeah.
Or the control, which is the state, and then you have local, which is the city. So the state does not have a closing time. When people say, oh, in Jersey they close too early, you know why they close early? Because the local government is not letting you open later. But if you put pressure on to local government, what do I mean? Not putting pressure like, hey, we need you to do it. Like, listen, guys, everybody went back to normal. It's taking us 5 months and we're already in the red. Well, if they allow you to extend your hours to the New York hours, the 4, the 5 now are going to stay local. And if you give people an experience staying local and obviously we're going to be better, we're going to be cheaper than New York. We're going to have, if you put Barcode side by side to a New York club, we pretty much wipe out New York. But one thing that we don't have in our favor is the closing time.
It's the closing time.
So if we're able to extend it to 4 or 5 in the morning, those 2 hours, even if we're at 50% occupancy, we could make up the difference with those extra hours.
Yeah, and I think also, I think as time goes by, with the hours, you will build confidence, right? You will build confidence in people. Like, okay, and if the infections are still down and everything, people will just gain confidence and start to go out. Because I think the first couple of weeks when this shit opens back up, people are gonna be like, all right, let me just sit back and look and see what is gonna be the impact, right? I see a couple of questions here that people are asking. They're like, are you gonna continue to pay Camilo the same amount of money, or is he gonna have to come down in price?
Look,
like
you know what?
I had to ask.
Look, I'm gonna tell you how I look at it.
Don't get diplomatic, my nigga. Give us the
I
muscle.
say no. I say how it is. Listen, I'm about to tell you this little
Give
one
us
thing
the
that
shit.
I
Let's talk the talk.
I'm gonna tell you something that I always say to everybody, and that everybody needs to understand. Nothing's expensive when you're making money, but when you're not making money, every penny counts.
Word.
So
Fact.
let's say there is that scenario. Everybody wants to use Camilo as an example.
Yeah,
Like,
Camelo's like, you know what Camelo is? He's like an index stock. He kind of like not dictates what the market is, but Camelo has he's a good indicator of nightlife, right? Let's just say he's a good indicator.
Listen, Camilo, he has learned how to get people to love him, DJs to love him, and
It's an amazing guy.
Yeah, no, listen, that's my boy. Like, to me, that's hands down. But going back to the question of Camilo,
yeah,
the first thing, I'm gonna have this conversation with everybody.
Yeah,
like when I go back, I'm gonna put people on scales. That's gonna define what you're gonna get paid. You want to take a chance with me? Cool. You could get paid this much if we have this much people.
Correct.
But if we only have this much, this is going to be your fee. The good thing about everything at Barcode and all the places that I run, everything is computerized. You can't bullshit me like, oh, but we only have this much people, because the clicker says that. I don't work with clickers. Every time we scan somebody in, every time we check somebody in, if you know, we got like the fucking airports, like the train shit with the turnstiles, we account for everyone. So it ain't no different when you have a contract with performing artists. I know I did this shit with an artist not too long ago. Listen, this is what you're gonna get paid. Actually, it was Evie Queen. Oh, but everybody's been waiting for it. Okay, cool. You have that confidence in her? I'll give you that. If she brings in 1,200 people, this is gonna be her pay. But if she don't bring 1,200 people, this is gonna be her pay. And they gambled it because they believed in themselves. Now, a lot of artists and DJs, they're gonna have to start getting ready for that new way.
Yeah.
Every DJ's talking about, like, everybody's worried about, oh, is Camilo still gonna make more money? Listen, Camilo brands himself. The guy goes live and he does 2,000-3,000 people because people love him.
And he's a businessman. Camilo, let me tell you something about Camilo. Camilo would adjust to whatever speed the highway is going.
Exactly.
It's like and again, even at his level, Camilo will adapt. Like, and again, like, we're just using that as an example because the question was coming up over here a lot. Like, he will, and I know this from experience, he will move with the speed of the highway. Like,
yeah,
the highway's going 20 miles per hour. Fuck it, let's go 20 miles. Like, he's not gonna go 100. Like, he is the guy. So,
but you know what, man? Like, that, Camilo's a very smart guy. You got to give him a lot of credit for what he does. But the Camilos, everybody. I don't want to mention them.
Yeah.
Here mentioning it. Everybody's gonna have to adapt. Everybody's gonna have to adapt if they want to work.
Yeah.
Unless they come up with a magic wand, and all of a sudden they figure out another way how to make that same money, then that more power to you, man. Like, I respect that. Like, if you make that money somewhere else, go ahead, man, rock out. And that's not just for Camilo. That's gonna be for everybody across the board.
All right, so let's talk one subject that's very important to me: the hookahs.
Hookahs.
What do you think about them?
Disgusting. You know why? You know why it's gonna be disgusting? I started doing this shit a long time ago, and I'm gonna bring out hookahs, and I'll talk about bottle buckets. I'm gonna talk about all that shit. Look, obviously this virus is being spread out because of the droplets in the air and all this shit. You know what also doing? Every time you're pulling a hookah and you give that hose to somebody else, even though you have a tip, when you're pushing air out to clear out the hookah, you're also putting out your viruses. If you have any infection or whatever, you're putting that in there. I personally think that what I would probably go do now is drop my prices in hookahs so everybody gets their own. And that will, this way, and number them, like, because you know what it is? Sometimes you got 4 hookahs and you don't know which one is yours.
Yeah.
So we're going to number them. We're going to put, like, this is going to be hookah 1, 2, and 3. And then, listen, freak out. Hookah number 1 is yours, bro. And the good thing about it is like all the hoses, we use disposable ones. So once you buy your hookah and you're done, we throw it out. A lot of motherfuckers are disgusting. I've seen guys use disposable hookahs as your regular fucking hoses. And they put fucking water through it and they use that disposable hookah over and over again so it fucking just breaks down. That's disgusting. Listen, if you're charging $25, $30 for a hookah, that hose is less than $1. Start being nasty, swap it out.
Yeah.
One thing that we're gonna put in place.
One hookah per head.
One thing we're gonna put in place also, we're gonna steam our hookahs. So when we're preparing them, we're gonna steam them, and we're gonna use stuff that they to disinfect every single one after every single use.
Yo,
you have to.
Let me ask you another question. It was really unrelated to nightlife. It's kind of like, but it's hospitality related. Airbnb, right? What do you think is gonna? Because I was reading an article the other day about Airbnb, and Airbnb got a loan for $1 billion from an investment company, to kind of bail them out, for the time being. So they're banking that they're gonna come back. Do you think those Airbnb rentals people are gonna be comfortable renting out their places now to people that are coming in? Like, it's just a question. I just wanted to pick your brain on that.
I don't have property in Airbnb, but one thing that I do say is what's going to play a role is people being able to do research on you as the owner of that property and how you're sanitizing it. Like, for an example, like you might expect, if I was the owner of that brand, while everybody's going back to comfort, what I would do is I would set up, inspectors per locations and send them out just to start seeing and rate them. Like, we went into this person's house, we gave them a 2-star because this shit was nasty, or 1-star, and let people, listen, they're no different when you're going to go to a restaurant, when you're going to go to a movie. You want to see the reviews. You want to be able to start. They might want to implement reviews on how they sanitize, because you could go into a house that looks beautiful, clean, and it's just nasty as shit. If you go in with a fucking black light and you start looking at it, that shit is nasty.
No.
Listen, when you go to a hotel,
I'm seeing these comments like Wilson, like, no, nigga, I don't got no fucking Airbnb rentals. I got permanent tenants, nigga. Stop it. I'm just interested in overall how the business, of Airbnb. Driver behind my question. Like, I enjoy traveling and I stay in a lot of Airbnb. Shit, I stayed in hospitals. Like, and then now, like, I'm like, fuck, if I go traveling again, like, would I stay in one of these? Like, would I want to go into it? Anyway,
listen, but one thing you got to realize too, like, everybody's on that clean shit right now because of what's happening. Yeah. Eventually, all that shit's gonna go back to normal. Listen, when I was growing up, I was drinking water from the fucking fire hydrant. I was playing soccer, and we bought a pie of pizza. Everybody's putting their hands in and just eating their own shit. So, is that gonna happen at one point? I believe so. That's gonna go. All that shit's gonna go back to normal.
Yeah.
Listen, it took 100 years for something like that similar to happen again, and behaviors are going to change, everything's going to change. But going a little step further from the hookahs, analyze this. You go to a club, you go to the bathroom. I see people walking out of the bathroom without washing their hands.
Dang.
And then on the way out, they're shaking everybody's hands. And then on top of that, the fucking bottle girl, man. No, the bottle girl, plus the person that delivers the bottle, you don't know where they've been before. You don't know where their hands have been. You don't know where they have touching. So they give you a bucket of ice with your Red Bulls, your bottle, and they just put everything there. Like, okay, your Red Bulls are getting cooled down, right?
Yeah.
Then you make yourself a drink of the same fucking ice that bottle is sitting in, that you don't know whether people had their hands in, or your boy that just came back from the bathroom, he wants to make himself a drink. He wants to put his hand in the ice and that's nasty.
That's fucking crazy.
I believe every club owner, everybody should be giving people two separate sets of buckets. One for clean ice, and there should be like a lid over it. and the one that you cool down your shit with. But you know, these norms, whether it's going on right now, this should have been adapted a long time ago. Like when I'm in my club and my bottle girl wants to go, and I order a bottle of Buchanan's or whatever, I tell her, do not put my bottle in the fucking ice. And the moment you do, go give me another bucket of ice. I don't want you touching my ice, because we don't know where people have been. We don't know where they have touched. And listen, as careful as you could be, you could always get sick. So, you know, you never know, man.
Yeah, like see, the other thing is, like, now, do you see opportunity? Like, do you see opportunity here? Like, and now clubs gonna be closing down. Do you, as a business owner, see opportunity as, like, in another club?
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Listen, this tsunami is not for everybody. Like, if you got your money right, you got your credit right, you got a few $100,000 in the bank, and you got equity, this is going to be the opportunity for everybody to bank on this. Now, I'm not going to say I'm happy to take over a bar of a guy who went out of business. I don't look at it like that. You listen, when I get offered opportunities to get involved in venues, I could go and grab them shit by myself and open them. What I do is I usually keep the person that was the original owner. I restructure the business, and I keep them on as a partner. And now they're making money that they never thought they're gonna make.
Yeah.
So, you know, am I seeing that, you know, there's gonna be a bunch of bars going out of business and more opportunities for me? Of course they're gonna be. But you know what? I don't bank on people's failures. Like, you know, I once almost lost everything. And it wasn't too long ago. So the fact that I was blessed to come back and come back strong, I don't wish that upon anybody. You know, like you know, if I could see somebody going through a hard time, I might go in there, restructure your whole business, but I'm going to teach you how to make money. Listen, let's go back to the facts. And I hope there's a bunch of bartenders and a bunch of bottle girls in here, because you know what? You guys are the poison to this business. And I'm going to use, and listen, I'm talking to you, and that, you know, Miguel, I love you as a brother, but there's a lot of promoters out there that they're also the poison to the business.
Yeah.
You know, because everybody,
I don't put myself in that category, but yeah.
No, but again, there's a difference. Listen, there's promoters that bring things to the table, and there's motherfuckers that just want to collect and they want to smoke hookah and drink bottles for free. But this industry, most of the people that I get told, listen, you know, Eddie, we got this venue, we got that venue, and I start going back and I start doing the numbers and I start looking at what was the reason why that shit failed. Bad management, number one.
Yeah.
Bartenders giving away drinks like it was nothing. You know, when a bartender walks out with $800-900 in tips, and they only sold $1,000, how the fuck you gonna make 80% in tips? And then their excuse, oh, I got a big tipper. No, you created a big tipper because you gave them away free drinks. So you know, somebody comes and gives you $50 and you give it, and that person's tab at the end of the night is $20-30. You're a piece of shit, because you're the reason why these people are actually starting to feel the pain. Don't get me wrong. That's how I've actually made more money, because when you guys fuck on those owners, that's how I end up with those places. But I don't wish that upon anybody, because you know what? At one point, you know, I was that one guy blinded, you know, believing in my staff, and you know, and when you're an owner and they're fucking you over, all the bartenders, they want to be your friends, and then you'll be like, nah, but this person would never do that to me. Guess what? They all gonna fuck you over. Yeah. So you know what? If you're not getting your clubs ready and you're not preparing yourself with liquor controls, listen, at Barcode, I know everything that's going on. And even like that, there's always a snake here and there, and we catch them. Yeah. Giving away a free drink, or opening up the spouts from the liquor control system, or saying, oh, the drink never came out. Listen, that shit always happens. Yeah, like, but you know what? You minimize it.
Yeah, look, I sympathize with promoters when you know, when these commentaries are said or whatever, like, because you know, I came from that world, right? So like, but at the same time, I also see a lot of fucking clowns in that business.
Oh,
like,
of course. And you know what? And those clowns.
and they
And
don't
those
have work ethic.
clowns, and those clowns are the ones that make the whole industry of promoters look bad.
Right.
Listen,
Correct.
there's a bunch of promoters that I say, you know what? I give you respect. Because you know, when there's a party, they'll come in early, they'll set up, they'll help decorate the place. You know, they start, you know, they come into the office, they brainstorm, they'll sit down and say, yo, what are we gonna do different for next week? What's gonna be the theme? You know what? You gotta respect that.
Yeah.
But you think it's right to, and then you have a fight with an owner, and then everybody's like, oh, party moved over here. Listen, guys,
They do fucking flyers with the buses on them. Fuck them.
let me tell you something. I have put my whole life on the line behind Barcode. I built that motherfucker with my own hands. My son, whenever I had free time that I couldn't go visit him, he will come to Barcode and he will help me clean. My little baby, he was back then, what, 3, 4 years old? He was there helping me out. My girlfriend was there helping me out. So you know what? When a promoter comes in and say, oh, this is my party. No, a promoter is just as good as the venue you're in.
Yeah.
If the venue that you're throwing a party in is not dope, you might get people to come out and support you once.
Yep.
But the club has got to be profitable, people, because if the club is not profitable, you know what? And I say this because I've seen it over and over again. It happened to me with so many different promoters. Oh, you know, the club is, you know, it's not hot no more. I want to go somewhere else because, you know, that I don't, people are not coming to support me no more. You know what? You know why that's happening? Because that owner's not making money. So if I'm not making money, I cannot give you the new sofas, the new VIPs. I cannot give you the new fucking lights because how the fuck am I going to pay for it?
Yeah.
So if I can make money to pay for that, then you guys are the problem.
Yeah.
Because you guys come and say, oh, I throw the party. You take the door money. Took $10,000. Yeah. And then on top of that, most of these motherfuckers want a percentage from the bar.
Yeah.
How are you going to ask for bar money and door money, not realizing that maybe that little bit of percentage from liquor that you were asking for and that door money, it's pretty much the whole net of the business. If you take away the net from the business, and you know why a lot of owners don't realize it? Because they be like, oh, we made this much money and they pay this bill and they pay that bill. Listen, if you're not paying your bills religiously, you see, if I order $30,000 in liquor by Friday, on Monday, the company's getting $30,000. A lot of owners are using the credit from the liquor companies. So they don't realize until it's too late how deep of a hole they dig for themselves. And then when there's no salvation, everybody walks away. And then, oh, the party just moved to this place. And then they go and milk that new owner again.
Now here's a counter argument, right? This is a counter argument. Promoters can say, well, you didn't prepare your club to be successful with the right things for me to sell it, right? Here's the like that could be the counter argument, right? Because you can have I've gotten phone calls to clubs and I go walk in, I'm like, you can't be fucking serious. Like you got tile in here from fucking 30 years ago. You know what I'm saying? So like, you know, the counter argument could be like, because there's a certain expectation that the club owners have, right? Like, oh, you're a promoter, you're gonna bring me all these people. But remember, like, the people themselves go out, right? So like my follower, my customer goes out to a place like, I don't fucking know, like, you know, they go out to, you know, in New York, they go out to any Club Vaca, I don't know, in New York, right? They go out and they see the fancy lights, the fancy this, the fancy that. And then they come back to Jersey and see a club that looks like shit. And they're like, I know that better exists, right? So a promoter can say, yo, you didn't equip your club with the right sound, the right lighting, the right decor, the right everything, hence why I wasn't successful, right? That's the counter argument, right? Because, you know, they could say that. You know what I mean? Like,
let's use the twist to that. Those are the owners that whether they have promoters or not, they're gonna fade away. And those are the owners that didn't make money. Because when an owner has a venue, you see, I'm a person that I'm always changing. No matter, I could be the hottest club, and if I go to Vegas and I see a brand new fucking light or sound or whatever, I'm gonna buy that motherfucker, even if I don't need it. I'm not gonna wait to the end of my club to figure out what I'm gonna do, because at that point it might just be too late. You see, and I'm gonna tell you, it happened to me when Coco Bongo, towards the last years of Coco Bongo, it declined. And then I said, you know what? Let me change it to club venue. And I did a little decoration here and there, and I changed it. Obviously, it was at the worst part of Cocobongo, so I didn't have the money to spend the money that I really wanted to do, right?
Yeah.
So at that point, people didn't respond. So when people didn't respond, I had no choice but to go back to the old Cocobongo, to the point where on a Saturday night, we only had 20 people in the club. And that's when I said, you know what? And why I was able to sustain it is because I had multiple incomes. But the best part about it is I already owned the building. So I was not forced to like, oh shit, how am I gonna make rent money?
Yeah, yeah.
So you see, so a lot of owners make the biggest mistake is buying into these clubs, not managing them correctly, and allowing while you're hot for everybody to take your profits. And then when you open your eyes, now you have no money, and the place has already been there, done that.
Yeah, it ran its
You
course.
see, so everybody, but the word, listen, Barcode and Cocobongo is the same location 20 years, and it's still a hot club. What keeps the club hot is the fact that I'm always reinvesting into it. Like if I take this much money, I take this for improvements, for new technology, for new lighting or whatever, things that people would notice. Like, listen, no different. We just did that fucking pool. So if I wasn't profitable, I couldn't do that. But you know what's one thing I don't do? I don't give my club away. You know how many, on an average basis, yo, I'm a promoter, can I work with you? And no. What are you going to bring to the table now? I'll give you an off night, and if you can make it work, cool, we'll work together. I ain't going to give you my Saturday night. I ain't going to give you my Friday night.
That happened
because
to
you know
me,
what happens?
That happened to me at Bliss. At Bliss Wednesdays. They gave me the off night. They gave me the off night.
But you see, you deserve your money. At that point, you deserve your money because now the owner is not relying on that money. That's extra money for them. You see, when I do day parties with a promoter and I'm closed during the daytime, that promoter brings me 1,000 people and he kept the door. That motherfucker's entitled to that. But no, the average promoter want to tag along to a night that's already established.
Yep.
And then they have a fallout, and then they start telling people, "Yo, I'm moving to club this and that."
Yeah.
Yo, like that's fucked up.
Yeah.
I opened my doors for you. I gave you a platform, and now you're using my brand to say that you made it happen. Nah, that's why when people be like, "Yo, at Lobby and Lit," you know, I let Terry do what he wants to do in those places. But when it comes to Barcode, nobody running my fucking house. Nobody.
Yeah.
I'm running my own house because you know what? That's the mothership. If Barcode, everything could fall to shit. If Barcode is doing fine, I could sustain every club, even at its worst. But if the mothership goes under, everything changes. So that's why I'm saying owners need to listen. If you do not understand marketing, if you don't know how to build your clubs, if you don't know how to manage your own lighting, your own sound, and somehow have knowledge of the business, please don't get into this business. Unless you got a lot of money and all you want is pussy.
Yeah.
Because if you want to be the cool guy in the VIP, you know, showing off that.
I've seen so many times.
And you know what? Those owners, they deserve to go out of business.
Yeah.
Honestly, I just sit back and say, that place is going to last this much. Bro, freak out. You don't know how many times I've been to venues, and just by walking in and looking around for 10 minutes, I could already say, this place is only going to last this much. And you know what? Within months of that time, that shit goes out because of the bad operation. You know, a lot of people, they have no business being in this business.
Do you think, because this is one thing that I've experienced too, like, you know, do you think some club owners, you know, I think you just said it actually. Do you think some club owners shouldn't be club owners? One, because, you know, like, yo, sometimes I've run into people like who own these clubs. I'm like, yo, my nigga, you just probably had an opportunity where you got a bunch of money and you try to put this shit out there. And all you want to do is fuck bitches and sit in a VIP and give you away your drinks and whatever. I'm like, yo, you just probably had an idea to put this together. Like, there are very few people who I look in this business who are passionate, who love what they do, who want to do a really great party. You know, like, there's a very handful of niggas that I really look in that box. It's like, so do you see, like, do you go into clubs and you're like, yo, this, like you just said right now, you see this club owners like, yo, this motherfucker should not even be owning this shit. Because it's just like promoters. Like, it's the same thing. Like, I look at promoters, I'm like, this motherfucker, like, went into this club. And they go into nice clubs, right? I see promoters, yo, with fucking parties at amazing. I'm like, yo, I will fucking do a party in that club. And I see these promoters, and they go in there, and they fail because they think, you know, the owners don't do the research and find out who. You are a sub-promoter. You go into another club, and you're like, oh, yeah, I did Bliss. No, you didn't, nigga. If you did Bliss, the nigga who you're telling that to should go find out who really did Bliss, or who really did Coco Bongo, or who fucking was promoting at 46 Lot, whatever the clubs were. You need to go find out. So yeah. It's the same thing with the club owners. Like, I look at club owners, and I'm like, you have no fucking clue what you're doing. Like, you have no clue what the fuck you're doing. But, you know, like I said, bro, like, you know, this was a I just wanted to put this out because I think people have like this whole, you know, misconception, and they have. And
let's talk about in general. There's a lot of motherfuckers that shouldn't be DJs. There's a lot of motherfuckers that shouldn't be promoters. There's a lot of people that just shouldn't be in the industry. All you're doing is you're hurting. Listen, if you hurt a venue, you're making the industry disappear little by little.
Yeah.
And you see, bro, back in the days, all the monster clubs that used to be in New York. Name me one monster club right now in New York.
They're all gone. They're
all gone. And you know why? Because majority of them, I'm gonna give you the whole reason. Bottle prices. Way too stupid in pricing. Let's talk about this Miami concept, right? Like the Vegas concept. When you go in and you go to these clubs and you're buying $10,000 tables, a lot of these clubs are allowing. So the gimmick is this: you as a promoter, go get me 10 bitches or 10 dope females or whatever. I don't want to call girls bitches because, you know, that's the street talk. But shut up, Mike. But let's take 10 dope girls, and we're gonna let you bring them in for free. Then the promoter sits in a section, drinks with all these 10 dope girls or 20 girls, so they could make the club look packed. Now, you got this corny guy that went on vacation with a few of his friends as a bachelor party or whatever. Oh, listen, you know, the club is packed. We got this one table, but, you know, we got some people sitting there. If you want it, it's going to cost you $10,000. And then they go and start doing that. That right there is one of the reasons why a lot of these clubs, listen, and there was a club in Vegas that just shut down. They spent, I don't know how many millions of dollars. What the fuck is that club? I was actually there last year. It was probably going to be, what the name of that shit? Amazing fucking club with the pool and everything. And it went out of business within 6 months of it opening because they lined up Cardi B, paying them, I don't know how much. When they on the talent, there was no way that club was going to sustain. And you know why? Because they went, the casino got, you know, all these investors to put up all this money, hundreds of millions of dollars. They put the shit together, and then they had a whole bunch of Vegas promoters running it. Perfect example, the dream club of anybody, out of business within 6 months. It was called Chaos.
Yeah, people are saying that in New York it was Bloomberg that shut down the whole nightclub shit, and he didn't want the club to be but I saw the business failing too early on. Like I used to love going to this club called Providence in the city. It's an amazing club. And that got shut down. And I always wonder, man, what the fuck happened?
Listen, if numbers are not being done correctly and you're not profitable, no matter where you're at, what part of the world, you're gonna fuck shit up.
Yeah.
And that's just the way it is. Right now, everybody needs to start understanding that there's gonna be new norms, and they have to start getting creative. At the end of the day, that's what it comes down to. If you're not gonna set yourself up with the new norms and get your creativity on point, as the clubs are going to disappear, restaurants like a motherfucker are going to, because restaurants are worse. Imagine we sell a drink for $10, we're profiting $8.
Yeah.
A restaurant that's selling a plate of food for 20 is probably costing them, by the time they add the cost of the chef and everybody else in there and the cost of the food, they're only probably profiting only $3-4. Now, if one plate goes back, they just oh, I don't like this. They just lost the profit on the next 5 other dishes they're going to put out of that kitchen.
Yeah.
So restaurants are really going to have a hard time sustaining this.
Man, this is insane, bro. Like, this is insane. But now, do you think that, like, now let's talk about concerts, right? Like, cause I'm really good friends with Alexis Peña, and me and him just always kick it all the time. Like, and you know, he's running around with Lunai and a couple of other artists or whatever. So he's like, yo, like, I'm done, right? He goes, he also owns a club in Madrid, and he's like, yo, my club got closed. Like, like, what do you see for the future of concerts? Do you see the same thing, that whole VR? You see the whole thing with, you know, I think concerts is gonna be for a while. It's gonna hurt.
Listen, the way we're having our conversations right now of how we're gonna make money while this shit is biting everybody in the ass, I'm sure every artist is gonna have to start figuring it out. And then if they don't, you're gonna start seeing a lot of artists giving up on their careers, because
damn, bro, damn,
it's true. If you are solely depending on you going out and performing, and that's out the door, how are you gonna eat?
Yeah. Damn.
That's gonna wipe themselves. That's why I said the pay-per-views, it might be the answer, but it might be the answer for the bigger artists. What about the B-list artists, or the ones that are just starting to pop off?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Those people, they're gonna have to you know, reconsider, and somebody has to come up right now with the perfect platform where, you know, somebody has to come up with the new pay-per-view for that platform, and that they're not going to abuse. Because listen, if somebody comes up with, let's say right now, pay-per-view, and they do, let's say, a Romeo concert, and they're going to say, oh, Romeo, we're only going to pay you this much, I wouldn't take that deal. Artists, if you are out there, you got to take hand of your own career. You know what? Right now, anybody could buy the technology. You could create your own platform where when you're performing, this is gonna be the channel, and we're gonna pay the channel the right to use it, and it's only gonna be this much. You ain't gonna take a big piece of the pie, because you know what? An artist they perform in New York today, they perform in Chicago and all that stuff, and they move around. But when you're doing a live concert, you get that one shot to make your money.
Yeah, like, do you think? I think Instagram. If Instagram Live was to be able to be monetized, and Instagram Live would give people kickbacks for how many people they have on, you know, I see that as an opportunity. Like, if you know,
but it's gonna be pennies. It's gonna be pennies. It's not gonna be like, it's not gonna be what people are expecting. Listen, if I was the owners of Instagram, the first thing I'll be doing right now, taking advantage of seeing how many people are going live, and create something within Instagram that now they could sell you the right to do a live concert.
Yeah,
that's what I would do right now.
Yeah,
if I was Instagram.
Yeah, or even live DJing, like, you want to see this DJ, you want the premium, blah blah blah. Cool, it's $5 to join. You know,
exactly, and it should be a platform that people are already comfortable with.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that's if you want it to work. Because let's say I create a platform and you have a platform, now you're gonna have 10,000 platforms.
Yeah,
and they're all gonna do the same job. So now you're gonna have people with a whole bunch of different apps. Like a Ticketmaster should create that platform, or a Instagram or Facebook should create that platform.
Yeah,
and sell it. Listen, we're gonna keep $1 for every subscription. You got Romeo performing. It's $100 to see him live, such and such date. Well, you got 1 million people at $1 a person. You just made $1 million.
Yeah. No, it's true, man. It's true, man. But You know, we got again, like I think now it's gonna be a really there's really changing times, and it's gonna be very interesting. So, but look, listen, bro, I gotta run. I got another live at 10 o'clock with Raul Acosta. You remember Raul Acosta, Oro Sólido?
Of course I do.
Yeah, I got a live with him, so he's gonna kind of weigh in on his opinion on this whole shit. But this was great, man. I think this was beautiful. I think you provided a lot of insight. I think a lot of people look to you as a benchmark. That
listen, and a lot of people, and guys, you know, and I know a lot of people probably are offended, or because that's, you know, I just touch a piece of what you do in the industry, guys. I'm an owner, I'm a DJ, I'm a promoter. I thought you said you weren't
an owner. What happened?
What I mean, you know, I stand and decide. Okay, I manage the businesses, so I could wear many hats. And if you guys are only wearing one hat, you got to sometimes put yourself in other people's shoes, and you also have to step back for a minute and say, you know what, this business went under. Let's look at why it went under. Sometimes owners play a big role, but sometimes it's not just the owner. It's the bad management. It's the you know, the bartenders giving away shit, or promoters, you know, not doing their job and still going there and collecting money and not helping the venue grow. Listen, it all comes down to, if you guys want to survive in this industry, you guys got to start thinking how you're going to make shit happen and start thinking outside the box and helping each other out as a group. Because if not, you know what? Yeah, you could be a dope DJ. You're going to be a dope DJ forever on live because you're not going to have no venue to play in. And eventually, you're going to get tired of your craft because people get motivated when they're making money.
Yep.
But imagine going live every night and drinking, and live every night and drinking. Eventually, if you're not making no money, you're going to have a wife, you're going to have a girlfriend, you're going to have a mom telling you, listen, come on. You got to bring bread. You got to bring bread to the house.
Yeah, I mean, no, absolutely. You know, I shout out all the DJs and promoters that are, you know, like if you're trying really to get this shit popping off, start thinking out of the box right now. Start thinking of ways for you to make money right now and monetize this shit. You know, not just be on the live DJing for free or whatever. Like, just try to figure out a way to monetize that. So, but yo, it was a great talk, my nigga.
Yeah,
I appreciate it. We gotta do it again.
Share it.
I'm gonna share it. I'm gonna put it on my story, and then we'll talk again soon, bro.
And if any of you guys have other questions, or if you guys want, you know, you can always DM me, Eddie G1. So it's, you know, EDDYG1, not the regular way you spell Eddie.
Yeah.
And listen, and I pray for everybody that's going through hard times. I really hope that everybody, you know, gets out of this shit. You know, it's not, again, we're going to see different things happening here. It's not just the businesses going through hard times. I know a lot of people right now are also going through hard times. And all I say, man, like I pray for everybody, man. Like, you know, this is gonna be a challenge. But
I know we're gonna get through this, man. I just we all have to work together, whatever. You know, bro, like before I get off, like I just want to say, bro, I have a lot of respect for you. You know, you and I have done a lot of shit together.
A lot of stuff.
We haven't seen eye to eye always, you know, but one thing that I've always learned from you is resilience, right? Like, you're a guy that you constantly don't give up, you know. And
you can't.
One thing that I look at you and I look at, you know, and you're a person that constantly is on that upward path no matter what happens, right? In the face of adversity, you're a person that, like, even now, I'm like, that nigga's gonna come up with some shit and people are gonna be like, oh shit. You know, so even the haters who might say, oh, well, no, he's fucking done this, that, and the third, whatever they're saying.
Listen, the good thing
in you feel me? Because I've seen those phases of you.
Listen, freak out. Listen, you know what's the beauty about everything that's happening right now is that this is not the first time it happened to me.
Yeah.
So I already prepared myself, my properties, and my everything for this scenario. we've taken money, we put it aside, we have money saved. If this shit doesn't bounce back for another year, we have mortgage money for another year.
Yeah.
I don't have to worry about that.
Yeah.
I got my pizzeria. The pizzeria is still generating, is making some money, so it's keeping the light bills and everything under control. I don't need to be rich from that. I ain't going nowhere. My girl's home cooking. She makes great meals. We're having a great time. And at the end of the day, it's all the reason why I sit today and I'm not going crazy here is because I have already prepared myself to do stuff like this. My properties are fully paid off. At a worst case scenario, I could always get a loan on the bank and take out $1 million to hold myself for another year or two. You see, I don't need to stress for that. But that's why I'm telling people, when you guys come back, please stop being stupid. Stop spending money on the stupid shit, on the expensive clothes. Listen, you know what? Let's build a new trend. Maybe let's start buying shit that is not expensive and looking good in it. Yep. You know what? This is the time where people needs to grow the fuck up. If you are still thinking about the Gucci, all that shit, you know what? Gucci ain't writing you a fucking check to go buy some food right now.
Word up.
That fucking $1,000 or that fucking $2,000, $5,000 purse that you got ain't gonna go to the supermarket and bring you a fucking bag of food. Yep. So you know what? Right now, you know what you are? You're broke and famous.
Facts.
So what's the point? I don't want to be broke and famous. Listen, bro, Foot Locker, $5, $10, whatever that shit costs me. I don't need to prove nothing to nobody. And if tomorrow my expenses are too high, I have a Lambo, I'll give that motherfucker back. My apartment is too expensive for me because money's not coming in. I'll give that shit back. But guess what? When this shit bounces back, I'll buy that shit back.
Exactly.
And that's just the way it is. Don't ever be ashamed to say, "Oh my God, like I can't let people see me not doing good." You know what? If you are worried about what people are thinking about you right now, you're a fucking idiot.
Yeah. We live in a world of perception. Like social media is all about perception.
Everything. Listen, let's look at the average music video. Motherfuckers in private planes and cars. Listen, how many times on a regular basis, yo, can I borrow your car for a video? Can I do this? Listen, stop trying to show somebody you're not. Why don't you do a fucking music video sitting on the sidewalk, talking to your boys? You don't have to go out of your way to try to look rich. If you're not rich, stop trying to look rich because you're going to be broker trying to look rich.
Yeah. Rich
people, if you go back and you look at the people that are making real money, they're wearing a regular white t-shirt, some bullshit ass cheap jeans from Target.
Look at the owner of Facebook. He wears a fucking gray tee and jeans every day.
You know why? Because he doesn't want to have to worry about what I'm going to wear tomorrow.
Yeah.
That's it. So guys, this new world that everybody's going to start living in, again, I know everybody likes good things, but everything has to be at its right time. Right now, this is not the time for that. Yeah. If you got the $1,200 check and you went out and bought yourself something, or you went and if you don't have your finances straight and you don't got a steady income, you're being very stupid right now.
Yeah, your money needs to work for you, not you work for it.
But remember, I have a saying in Spanish: El vivo vive del bobo. So you know what's gonna happen? All these motherfuckers that are doing stupid shit and they're gonna lose everything. You know who's gonna? And I tell you, because every time I'm about to open up a club or do something, I go to auctions. Bro, I have my barcode kitchen. I could probably rate it right now. If I was to buy everything brand new, it would have cost me over $100,000. I did it with $15,000. That's bar crazy. At barcode. That bar, oak wood with granite and everything, it probably would have cost me to build it from scratch, maybe between $45,000 and $50,000. I bought it from a failing business for $800.
That's fucking crazy.
So you know what? El vivo vive del bobo. Your stupidity is going to be my success. Because when you went and bought something for all that money, and even when you have luxuries and that stuff, when you lose it, the bank, they take it away from you. They sell it for whatever they could get.
Yeah.
And then whatever money they didn't collect is going to go on you, and they're going to collect it. The banks are never going to lose. So, bro, stop being stupid, people. Spend your money right.
Yeah. All right, my brother. It was a great talk. I appreciate you doing this. I saw your post this morning. I'm like, yo, we need to get on a fucking live.
Bro, whenever you want, and anybody who wants to talk about anything, let's do it. Listen, right now everybody got free time.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
this industry ain't gonna do nothing. So, and if you guys want to get together and start brainstorming about what I talked earlier about creating the pay-per-view for shit and stuff like that, I'm all ears. I got the venues, I got the locations, we got internet in all the places. We're on high-speed internet. If you guys want to come in, we'll set something up. Listen, let's do a try run. What you got to lose?
Yeah,
you ain't got shit to lose.
Word up.
All right, people. God bless, man. Be safe.
My brother,
out there.
thank you very much. I'm gonna share that. I'm gonna put this on my story. All right.
Yeah, I want to see it. Because there's too many comments. I haven't even had time to read.
Right,
lo bueno y lo malo. Fuck it. Take it.
Stay safe, bro, and God bless, bro. Like I said to you before, bro. Like I have utmost respect for you, and
likewise, brother. Likewise.
And listen, and we had a great relationship, and we've maintained that relationship throughout the years, and I believe in you. When I look at this shit, I look at you and I think about you. I'm like, yeah, he's gonna fucking figure it out, because there's only a handful of people who I feel that way about, and you're one of them. So
thank you, brother. Thank you.
Thank you for doing this for me.
Listen, my goal is to get out of this shit, and as many people as I could bring along and help out and grow with them, I'm down, bro.
Yeah.
I don't wish nothing negative upon anybody, because you know what, I've been through hard times, and nobody, unless you're in that boat, you're not gonna know how difficult it is. And I feel everybody's pain right now. Yeah. So let's just, as a community that we are, and this industry is a community, we got to think outside the box, and let's make things happen, man.
Yep.
Rock out with your interview. I'll be viewing you later on.
All right, brother. Thank you, bro.
Hágale, people. God bless, people. Pórtese mal para que la pasen bueno.
Bye.
This is Acapella Podcast.